Well, let's see. My dad was a teacher by profession when I was growing up. I was a child of the counterculture, and I went to this little hippie alternative school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which we couldn't afford to go to had he not been the teacher there. We didn't have a lot of material possessions, and I think I rebelled a bit against this upbringing. When I was a teenager, I had a poster in my bedroom, a picture of this sort of snotty-looking rich guy leaning against a Rolls Royce, and it said, "Poverty sucks." And I went to school near New York City. I think I imagined I was going to make it big in the entertainment business. I know that's what I imagined. I still occasionally imagine it. And so when I was done with school, I moved into the city. And my first job was disillusioned me very quickly from the music industry. It was a terrible booking agency job. I was rescued from that when a classmate of mine knew that I'd done some audio production work and some music, and she was working at a advertising agency doing music production. Said, "Hey, I have another job like mine, you should come over and interview." Got the job. I was freed from the shackles of the booking world, and I went and bought some fancy new clothes for myself, which I needn't have done because the production level was like the service industry. You know, the creatives would wear the fancy ties, but we were like the service wing, the production department. One of the very first projects I had was producing the music for a little 5-second tag at the end of a commercial for one of those children's breakfast commercials that are all made of sugar and styrofoam, and they have cartoon characters to advertise them on Saturday mornings. And I signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't actually reveal any of the real details, you know. Let's just say it was called Choco Puffs, or one of those. And so it was a little 5-second tag they put on the end when it says, you know, free inside each box, or some, you know, premium, you know, collect the box office. Get, in this case it was a coupon for a pizza joint. It was a weird tie-in for a breakfast cereal to Domino's or whatever it was. But in any case, that's what it was. And so I hired the musical team to write the music for this little tag at the end of the commercial. When they were done with it, they came over to the agency. I met them and went up to the account executive's office to play him the music on the video. And we walk in, and I'd never met this guy. I didn't think he'd ever met this particular musical team before. We walk in, we sit down, we put the big old video cartridge in the machine. We watch this little tag. It's like 5 or 6 seconds long. And the assignment was something Italian. It's pizza, make it Italian. So there's like a mandolin and an accordion, quintessential sort of traditional sounding Italian melody. Total non sequitur to the breakfast cereal commercial, but nonetheless. It finishes and he says, "Well, I hate it." No further explanation, no helpful critique of any kind. And one of the creative music guys says very coolly, "Well, okay, let's talk about maybe what it is about it that you hate, and then maybe we can address that." And he says, "Well, it's not Italian. It doesn't sound Italian to me. It doesn't say Italian to me at all." And they're like, "Well, a real live Italian was playing the accordion. You know, Rick here, he's Italian. So, you know, maybe we can change the instrumentation if that's what you don't like." And the account guy interrupts us and says, "Hold on a sec, I gotta do something." He turns his back to us, goes to his desk, behind his desk, and his computer monitor, which has had a screensaver on the whole time, just a phrase that he's typed in, and you can change what the phrase is. And what it's been blinking at us the whole time is, "Only dead fish swim downstream." So that's what we've been seeing, jumping around behind him while he's like, "I hate it." And he's like, "Excuse me." No, he doesn't say, "Excuse me." He says, "I gotta do something, hold on a sec." He goes over and he changes it from "only dead fish swim downstream" to "if you're looking for a friend, space, comma, I suggest you get a dog. Enter." And he turns around. And I don't remember anything more about that particular meeting. I just know our jaws, all three, pretty much hit the floor. And I did not get a dog, but I knew better than to seek friends in the account department at an ad agency. A little while later, a slightly larger assignment. I was producing full-length radio commercials, public service announcements featuring a well-known crime-fighting dog with a gravelly voice. And We showed up at the music house and recording studio. The woman greeted us, and they knew each other. They'd done a lot of these, but this guy's like 75 years old. He's the account guy and the voice guy in this particular case. And there's a 9-year-old boy there who's there to play the young cousin of the crime-fighting dog. He's going to sing a little jingle for us. And we're all in the same room, and the account guy who does the voice is really excited because I heard a joke. Oh, Susan, you're going to love this. I thought of you. And he starts to tell a joke. A lady walks into a bar. And then he screws it up. He can't remember how the joke actually goes. He's like, oh, hell, I can't remember how it goes. Well, the point is, the part that I thought was funny, I thought you would think was funny, is a lady, she's so cavernous that when she sits down on the bar stool, she just envelops the entire thing. And we all kind of go, oh, that's funny. It's the 9-year-old boy is looking slightly pale. But the next job, and the one that sticks forever in my mind, the strongest, I piled in. This was a TV commercial for like a frozen chicken company or something. And I met the senior creative team and a younger writer and an account guy down in the basement where the limos were, the company cars, which were all driven by Indian men. Okay, this is what it was like 10 blocks away, but you were not, it took us less time to walk, but what you did was you took the elevators down, you waited for the Indian man driving the black limo, and then you rode however long it took through Midtown traffic, which is what we did. And we got to Midtown, and the senior creative team guy who's sort of in charge of this campaign looks out the window and goes, oh my gosh, 46th Street and Broadway. This reminds me of a funny story. You know, long time ago, right here, it's funny, you know, technically speaking, I guess you could say, I was an accessory to a murder. And we stopped talking. We're not sure if he's joking or not. We kind of waited for him to explain. And he says, well, I was in the Navy. It was during Korea, and I was on leave. And I was, you know, in New York City for the first time, and I was wondering, it was right on this block. And there was a young couple who must have just been coming out of a show or something, and this bum is begging for change from them. And he's being kind of aggressive about it. And this other guy walks up to them and says, hey, is this guy giving you trouble? Want me to take care of him for you? And he backs up about 20 paces and gets this running long jump to the bum and knocks him over, knocks his wind out, knocks him on the ground, and then tears off around the corner. Well, I didn't think anything about it. A few minutes later, I'm walking back around the corner from the other side, and the body's still on the ground, and there's blood, and there's a police car, and there's police tape around him. I realized he wasn't knocking him over, he was stabbing him. He killed this guy as a favor to the nice young couple, and he's gone. And I realized I don't see them anywhere. I'm probably the only witness. And I just really didn't feel like getting involved. And, you know, I kept walking. So I guess technically speaking, it's funny. You could say, you know, I was an accessory to a murder. And there's another long pause. He absorbed this information. And then he says, you won't tell anyone, will you? And as I hear myself saying, ha ha ha, no, I realize the only other person who's answering is the driver, because that's the only person he was talking to. The ad guys aren't going to talk about it. We're worried about what the help is going to say. I didn't last long in advertising. I fled the city not long thereafter, back to Cambridge, found myself working at the same little hippie alternative school my dad had once taught. Forgoing the bright lights in big city, and found myself working with my girlfriend, and then split up with her, and then continued working there for another 5 years. But that's another story.